My name is Steve Perry, and I play the tuba. I've been playing the tuba with the Springfield Symphony since 1981. I grew up in Plainville, Connecticut. My father was my band director. Actually, even before that time, he was my 4th grade music teacher. My mother was my 5th and 6th grade music teacher. So when I got to high school, he had moved up to the high school, so I had him as a high school band director, which was not the easiest thing. I was just telling some friends of mine today that a joke that I played on the flute players, we had a divided period. Halfway through the period, we went out for lunch. I snuck back and I rolled up little pieces of paper, and 20 pieces of paper went into all the flutes in that first row. So they brought up their flutes ready to play, and all of a sudden they're not working. And the band director just said, "Now, whoever did this cannot do this anymore." I never told him that until about 3 years later, and he said, "That was you." I got into playing the instrument actually as a need. I played the tuba in 7th grade because they needed one. I was a trumpet player for a few years before that, and then I had braces. That was a little difficult because trying to play the trumpet with braces is like trying to kiss a pincushion. I was thinking maybe I'd be a gym teacher or I'd be a music teacher, and I had to pick. So I decided I was going to be a music teacher. I went to a state school in Connecticut, and after a couple of years, though, the tuba became a little more interesting. I had a great teacher. I got some playing experience out at Yale. They were missing a tuba player. I just filled in. And then it sort of hit me how much I really liked doing this. In about 1830, there was an instrument called an ophicleide that Mendelssohn wrote for, and Berlioz wrote for, and that was the predecessor to the modern-day tuba. So we started about 1830, and we work our way up. We don't play Beethoven, we don't play Mozart, we don't play Bach. It's a real drag. We get to listen to that because we're sitting off stage, but occasionally we'll play transcriptions, just to amuse ourselves. But I like playing Berlioz. I like playing Wagner, Bruckner, Mahler. That's where the Germans wrote for the tuba, and they're the ones who experimented with a smaller tuba and made it a little larger, and so most tuba players just relish playing Bruckner or Mahler. But also, I got into playing tuba mostly because of playing chamber music or in a brass quintet medium. When I went to Yale, that was where they focused on chamber music, brass quintets, 2 trumpets, French horn, trombone, and tuba. And I got to play in some wonderful groups. I also had the opportunity to play with the New York Brass Quintet. They're the pretty much longest or the earliest brass quintet out there, and they started getting a lot of composers to write for that medium. Before they retired, I played a half dozen concerts with them, so that was always that's been a very momentous piece in my life. I love New York. I made a lot of great friends. I played in a Broadway show. I was subbing in the ballet. I did some subbing in the Met. But actually, before I even got to New York, I had won this Springfield Symphony job, so I was still coming up to Springfield to play my tuba on weekends. I was also teaching at Hart School of Music. It was a busy life. I found myself in and out of New York, and I always knew that New York was only going to be part-time because there are things that I liked to do other than just play, and that is like bike. I didn't live close to Central Park. I also like to run. And to do what I'm doing right now, to be able to sustain this life is pretty difficult because getting up in the morning at 5:30, getting to school at 7, practicing to 8:30 in the morning and doing my teaching duties, and then the evenings are taken up pretty much right across the board. It's pretty grueling. But once again, I feel I can do all this because I have a varied lifestyle, and I love to work out. I do swim too, and I do triathlons as well. So I feel the only way to to certainly carry my tuba is I have to be in shape. I also have to maintain a fairly good amount of air and be able to carry that air through my tuba all the time. So I do think about the health aspect. So that's always been very important in my life.